video webinar from Steve Jackson. This is an interesting subject which I don't think many people realize when they're running any business such as Doterra or any network marketing business, is a thing called personal branding. It can be a slightly complex subject, but it's about they should understand who they are in the business and what their goals are, and when it comes to personal branding, as a person, as a business person, as a Doterra consultant, all of these are important. I might take you through a few of the reasons why I think it is an important subject, as well as how I branded myself over the years. And it is a process, it's not an overnight thing, but it's something which I think people in this business should understand, because Doterra is one business, but if you're intending to go into the home-based industry for some years, personal branding is a kind of is a way to kind of allow yourself to move on into other industries, because people know you as that X factor of being that specific person, and as a brand as such. But let's take a look at the slides here, so you maybe get a better idea what personal branding is all about. When you're trying to brand yourself as, in the case of Doterra, maybe someone who's an authority in health or wellness, essential oils, weight loss, whatever, you need to be specific. You need for people to know who you are, and doing that, you need to really define your goals and objectives as a Doterra Wellness Advocate. And you need to kind of want to know what you want to achieve in the business, and in the sense you need to know where you're intended to head for. Selling a few oils on the side is fine, but it's not going to make you money in the long term. People need to know that you are the person to go to for a specific reason. And yes, generally as an essential oils consultant is good, but it's best to go for a niche, a smaller niche, so you become more of an authority in that niche. Also, how far do you want? It's all comes down to goals and objectives in the business. This branding comes down to. So also you need to know how far you want to go in the business. Are you interested in just making enough money over the next 3 or 4 years, or just would you want to go further in this? Do you want to be a bigger person in the industry? And also you need to know where the final result is, where you're going to be in the end. And this really goes back to things like taking action, creating goals, and making a plan, etc., until you arrive at your destination. This is the main part of creating this brand of yourself, because if you don't know who you are, how is any other person seeing you or speaking to you going to know who you are if you don't already know? So the way to do this, you need to kind of conduct some sort of research. What are the successful people doing in Doterra or any other business? So how are the others in that niche that you're interested in have become successful, in the sense of a Doterra essential oils consultant or a network marketing business? They all created this personal brand of who they are, and it's either the guru network marketer, or it's the weight loss guru, or it's something. but whatever it is, they own it. They own that position when they've taken. Um, and also, you need to learn what you can learn from these people. Now, I do it all the time. I don't talk about it a lot, but I do it all the time. The last time I was in Spain, I purposely went to dinner. Me and my wife went to dinner with this guy there who's made a lot of money from this business. And even though I'm doing okay in this business, it's always good to find out what he's doing. And it's amazing how simple he's keeping it. But there is an aura about him. There's a kind of he has the confidence to know that whatever business he does, he's going to make it, and that's half of it, of course. But he has his niche of being successful, that success guru, that person who can tell you the best thing to do. He knows the ways of running these sort of businesses. But you should find out what people who are successful in Doterra or network marketing or weight loss businesses. What are they doing, and what are the good effects and the bad effects of that? Who the competition are, and what are they doing for their own brand? For example, Young Living, how are they branding themselves? They are a successful company as much as doTERRA is, so you shouldn't kind of like say, wow, they're not that good. Well, they obviously are. So you see what they're doing in their business, and try and find some interesting ways of branding yourself as well, or using some tricks and ideas from them. But when you're determining the brand attitude, the skills you need and knowledge you need to look at yourself and say, what do I already have? What is in me that I can use for that brand? Um, and also, you obviously, nobody's saying you should be outside your comfort zone, but you need to believe that that it's part of your brand. It's not going to be just you. There's going to be some things you're going to have to do which may not be so comfortable in your life. And so you need to kind of move into the areas where you're saying to yourself, I'm not comfortable with this, but I'm going to have to do it. So being outside the comfort zone is going to be a part of rebranding yourself or creating that brand. Uh, but you also need to write down and say to yourself, what do you want your personal brand to convey? How do you want people to see you as a doTERRA consultant, as a essential oils consultant? How do you want people to see you? So, I mean, in my case, people see me as this SEO genius sort of type or nerdy type, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy because people know me as that, and they understand that I know something about um, making people come to my site and joining my business. That is what I do. I don't care if people don't see me as a essential oils guru, because that's not really my niche. So you have to have your own niche anyway. So if it is essential oils, if it is network marketing concepts, that's okay. So you've got to say to yourself, what adjectives do people want to associate you with, and how, and why? That's the other, and why? How do you want people to see you? As I've already said. So, so how do you do that? So how do you do that? That is the main trick. How do you get yourself in that position that people see you in that? Well, it becomes a whole lifestyle thing for sure. Um, you don't need to kind of pound people with your business all the time. That doesn't work. But you need to be that person who, in a conversation, has the information, has the knowledge of your niche. that will start to bring people into your area of influence, and they will start to ask you questions. So, as I've already said, the niches in the market available to you when it comes to doTERRA can be, as you can see on the board here, essential oils, wellness, yoga, weight loss, anything related to that area is where you should be looking at when you're looking at the brand attributes that you've already got. So once you've got to that stage, you need to kind of assess your current state. You need to say to yourself, what assets do I already have, and how can I use them? Again, in my case, the assets I already had was the internet marketing side of me, social media marketing, and that sort of, and the technical side. So I had them assets already. My social skills were not always super duper or fantastic. So I've had to do these webinars. For me is, I would say, out of it's not in my comfort zone. I'm not completely happy doing these, even though I may sound confident and everything, but this is not me really. But I said to myself, now I'm going to have to do this, because if I want to be successful, I'm going to have to do something out of my comfort zone. I can't lean back on my SEO skills and internet marketing skills forever. I'm going to need to actually communicate to people on an individual level, and this is something I'm not completely confident with, but I know I'm going to have to do it. But anyway, what you do when it comes to personal branding, you look at the assets that you already have, and you put them in, and you say, okay, this is what I've got. And then you look at where you want to go to. What do you want to be? And then you need to fill that gap in between. And you have to see how big that gap is or how small that gap is. But regardless what it is, you need to find out what you need to change in you as a person, or skills you need as a person, and fill that gap. So, for example, you've started doTERRA and you know a little bit about essential oils, but you would like to help people with pain management. Now you need to know something about pain management. If you don't, and you think it's going to be impossible, then you may have to change your niche and try that, maybe go into something else. But whatever that niche is, you need to bridge that gap between one and the other until you reached that brand and that personal concept that people see you as. Creating a game plan to do this is a vital part of branding yourself. Without a plan, you plan to fail. There's no doubt about that. It's another good saying for anything in business. If you have no plan, you will fail. So you really need to have a plan when you're doing this, to know where you're going to and how you're going to get there. But the game plan should include more than just branding yourself on social media. That is good, but it needs to be more than that. Social media will not get you where you want to be in long term. It's okay for a while, but it's not going to really get there. Your plan needs to include tangible and intangible characteristics. Your personal branding should include everything, including your attitude, how you dress, everything, how you communicate with people, non-verbal communication, everything, right across the board. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need to be dressed in a business suit or anything like that. It just means whatever niche you're going to put yourself in, people need to see you as that on a general basis. And that does work, because then people, their expectations of what you look like and how you speak and everything, will say straight away, you are what you are. And be honest, of course, be honest. And I think one important aspect, make it fun. Make it fun and make it something you're happy with as well, that you can feel confident with at the same time understanding you may have to be out of your comfort zone. Of course, social media is going to be a very important part of this, and so the aspects that you show in your personal life should also be conveyed in social media, in places such as LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, blogs, etc., etc. They should all be all of them. There shouldn't be any confusion that they see you on one site as a political anarchist, and then on another site as a new age peace guru. It would confuse people. So you need to kind of keep yourself the same right across the medium. So the final part of this, and this isn't the totally final, because I'm just going to go through some other bits about how I branded myself. But you need to be proactive with your brand, and so you need to update them all the time, but at the same time try and keep in the same direction as you started in. So that brand is reinforced over time. Simply branding means all aspects of your life need to be portrayed in one niche, and that niche, obviously, in Doterra's case, needs to be related to being a Doterra Wellness Advocate, and everything that means. But if I go back to personally my situation, originally I was speaking to Liana about this, and she said you should really tell people about how you branded yourself and how you started doing this. And I thought about it, and she was right. I should really talk about this. But if I tell you a little bit about myself, just a little bit of history, so you kind of get where I'm coming from. But I was born in the south of England many years ago, a place called Southampton. I would say working middle class family. I guess we had enough money. I never seemed to be poor. I'm not saying we were rich, but we weren't ever. I can't remember us ever being poor. But there was a few times I can remember my mother searching for money for milk, but it was nothing big. I can't remember it being ever big in life. But school was pretty average. I was rubbish at school, absolutely rubbish. I managed to do an apprenticeship when I was 16, and I never really went far in life, really. But there was like a point, I guess there was a point when I was about, it must be when I was about 16, 17, that I said to myself, I don't think I want this forever. And I think that was the time I started to realize that the understanding that I wanted more from life. And that's when you kind of start to understand that there needs to be a direction. And that direction is related to branding as well. And I remember I started playing the guitar, I started playing in a band, and I started doing all that stuff. And all of this was a development and a movement forward for me. And as time went on, things seemed to be moving forward, and I got into education for a while, went back into education, but all that time I was doing the same thing, which I felt was quite interesting, was that I felt I needed to take action, and I felt if I started something, I needed to finish it. And then once I arrived in Finland many years ago. I'd done similar thing, and I wrote it down here because it's actually, I remember saying to my wife when I came to Finland that I I have to say I was not necessarily 100% sure I wanted to live in Finland, but I remember I wrote down an action plan for myself and of what I wanted to be, because I wasn't happy about really going there, but I knew if I was going to live here, I needed to do something. So the action plan was learn Finnish, return to school, get a job. That was it. If I had done that, I was completely happy. Anyway, within 3.5 years, I started a course in Finnish, used Finnish every day, learned Finnish. Second one, go to school. I applied for a degree, started a degree, finished the degree in 3.5 years. Third one, get a job. First job, I could find degree related. I got, and then I managed to get a job a few years later, a management job for a company, Finnish company in Finland. And so all my goals were filled very quickly. And it's mainly because I had branded myself as this proactive individual who was willing to learn the language, who was willing to kind of put himself out, who was willing to take the next step in his life. And when I went into interviews, they could see that. They could see that I had put the effort in, and they could see that I wanted to move forward, and they were willing to give me that opportunity to do that. And so once the 3.5 years was up, of course, like you, I was happy. I thought I've done it. But of course, being me, after a couple of years, I realised that wasn't enough. I needed to do something more. So when I looked at Doterra, again, I've been doing some network marketing businesses, but when I looked at Doterra, I kind of realised quite fast that again, you need to have goals and you need to know where you want to be in the business. So I went through the same sort of process of branding myself as what I wanted to be, which was because I was interested in SEO, network, internet marketing and social media marketing, and I could do it, but I hadn't really understood how I could do it to make money with companies like Doterra. So I had to do the same process again. I needed to take action. I needed to set goals. I needed to make a plan, and I needed to work on it. And so this was my plan when I joined Doterra quite a few years ago. And the action taking action was to join a business, and the company was I joined with Doterra. Teach myself internet marketing, web development, and network marketing in relation to network marketing, which I taught myself. Create a system to enroll people automatically through blogging and landing pages, which I've done. Create a system that emails people leads automatically, which I've done. The goals was to make enough money to relocate to Spain in 4 to 5 years. Haven't got to the 4 to 5 years yet, so that's not achieved yet. Earn enough money to live in Spain for 4 or 5 years again. Haven't made it. Build a large enough team. Enroll 20 people a month in 6 to 12 months. That is achieved. Help 5 of my top people to achieve Premier in 3 years. I'm on the cusp of that, so if anyone's in my top 5 people, be prepared to go to Premier soon. Earn enough for sometimes to live in Finland in 4 or 5 years. Again, I haven't got to the 4 or 5 years yet, so I don't need to achieve that. The plan was to enroll 20 people a month, which I've done. Develop 4 leaders, which I'm doing at the moment. Get to silver by Christmas 2007, which I will do. Gold by May next year, which I will do. Move to Spain September 2018. That is the plan. Uh, and how do I do that? I work on the business 4 to 6 hours a day, 1 to 2 hours on weekends, and holidays at least 1 hour a day, just to make sure I keep up with the business. That's I work on the business, and that is how I branded myself, to make people understand that's how you make money from Doterra if you want to do it online. Of course, if you're not doing it online and you're doing it through classes, that's still effective as well, but you still need to brand yourself, and people still need to see you in them classes as being that authority or that trusted expert in the doTERRA industry. Anyway, I hope I've given you something to think about. People in the business this month have done reasonably well. Top people went to executive this month. Next month, I'm sure everyone will go to elite next month. Christmas is coming, so I think anyone that went to elite before will be going to elite again next month, and even maybe before Christmas they will be going to premier. It's quite possible. Anyway, if anyone's got any questions and want to speak to me personally, please get back to me on Facebook. I am always available, as you know, so speak to you then. Anyway, have a good day. I am going to have a good evening. Thank you and goodbye.